Do you remember in school when we learnt how to find the value of area of any triangle or find the value of any x in any functional equation? We spent years on that stuff. But the fact is that the majority of the people can find the value of x in any algebra equation, but they are unable to find some money in their bank account. And this is a big problem. Schools prepared us for exams, but not for life. Seriously, you think, when was the last time somebody asked you to recite the periodic table to pay for your rent? Not possible, right? The biggest gap in our education system is very simple. We learnt about many subjects during our school time, but the biggest gap in our education system is very simple. We studied many subjects throughout of the schooling, but we did not learn the financial survival skills. We learnt about the history, but we do not know how does a compound interest work. We learnt about Shakespeare's, but we do not know how to build our financial empire by our own money. Remember your first summer job. You got your paycheck, and for the first time, you had real money. You bought a video game, a couple of pizza party, and your money is gone. Just like that. The main reason behind this is that nobody taught how does a budgeting work, how to do budgeting. You thought that those money is just for spending. Or what about when you are freshly graduated from university, you go to bank to open a bank account and they offer you a free credit card. They sound like it's a free money. You sign up thinking that you have unlocked some cheat code for your life, but after a couple of months, you figure it out that you are in a big financial mess. We were sent out in the world knowing how to do a lot of things, but we have no clue about one particular thing that impacts every single aspect of our life, and that is money. If you are new here, my name is Mayur. I talk about money and mindset in a such a way that even if your little cousin brother thinks that monopoly is an investment, we'll easily understand this. In this video, I'm gonna share 5 most basic lessons that I believe schools should have taught us about the finance. Stay tuned. Let's change that right now. Here are the 5 most basic lessons that I will be representing in this video. The first most basic lesson that I feel that schools never taught us is budgeting. What is budgeting? Well, mostly people know about this, but they hardly implement. And the reason is that they think that it is very complex because they were never been taught. I personally believe that budgeting helps you to determine where will your money go at the end of the month, and you know that how you can control your money. I believe that budgeting is the most fundamental step to start your financial journey. Since budgeting was not part of our curriculum, majority of the people still struggle to differentiate what are their needs and their wants, and they struggle financially. School taught us only about what to buy, but they never taught us why to buy and why not to. They never taught us a difference between what is a want and a need. Imagine your first paycheck. You made $1,000. Your needs like rents, groceries, and bills comes first, and your wants, a pair of sneakers, a vacation, or a movie night comes second. So let's learn how to do a budgeting or what is budgeting. The most common rule for budgeting that you might have read somewhere or seen in some random YouTube videos is called 50-30-20 rule. That means out of your paycheck, 50% must go to your needs. Your wants can only accommodate 30% of your income, and 20% is must for your investment. Now, the most important thing to note here is that if you do not take note of your expenses, if you do not write them down, at the end of the month, you never know where does your money go. And you never can summarize how much was your wants, was your needs, and how much you invested for that particular month. The reason is that the school never taught us. You can modify this rule according to your requirements. For example, let's say at the end of the month, based on the calculation, you only used 40% of your needs. That means the rest 10% from your paycheck, you can put that money into your investments. Because the more early you invest, the more return you get. The baseline of any budgeting is that the things without that you cannot survive in your life, that are your needs, and you should allocate 50% budget from your paycheck. You can use 30% of your money on your hobbies or for a vacation. But you must remember that you should not play around this 20% investment number because this is going to help you later in your life and you will not realize it today. The second important thing I believe that school should taught us is about credit and credit cards. Credit cards are like dating apps. You keep swiping on unnecessary items and you find yourself in the world of troubles. Remember a random math class when the teacher taught us to avoid debts, but at the same time, he failed to explain how we can use credit in our benefits. Your credit score is your financial reputation in your bank. It tells lenders how responsible you are in terms of paying money back. Building a good credit score is very essential for getting a car loan, your mortgage for house, or even renting an apartment. But if you do not know the rule, you end up paying a crazy interest rate and find yourself trapped for many longer years. Let's learn something about the taxations and paychecks that school never talked about. You remember your first paycheck. You thought that your bi-weekly salary is $2,000 and you got only 1,500. Who took your $500? In this case, the government is sitting in the corner and thanking you for doing the job for them and earning 500 for them. The reason is that nobody showed you how the taxation work. Almost in every country of the world, the taxation system is very regressive. That means the more you earn, the more amount of taxes you pay. However, there are n numbers of ways of paying less taxes. Two things to learn here. First, the government do not take the same amount of money from your paycheck on the every dollar you earn. They take different amount of the taxations on your different paychecks. For example, in your first paycheck, they might have taken $500 from you, but let's say in your second paycheck, you worked overtime, they take some more money from you. That does not mean that overtime is restricted. I have seen many people refusing doing overtime because they think that they will end up paying more taxes and doing more hard work. But here, the one thing they are missing is that the annual tax. They do not know how much amount of the annual tax they are going to pay and how much money they will owe to the government or the government owe to them at the end of the year, and they end up losing the money. That's why I believe that learning about reading a pay stub and all your deduction in it is the first step in your financial adulthood. It is not a magic, it is just a system to learn. Compounding interest. Compounding interest is like a snowball rolling the downhill. It gets bigger and bigger as it go down. But the unfortunate thing is that our teachers never showed us the hill where we can throw such a snowball. Schools taught us about the interest rate, and that was the hardest subject for many people, right? But the compounding is the thing where the real magic happens. Imagine if you are a 20-year-old, if you invest $100 a month for the next 20 years. Imagine how much money you can get with the compound interest. You won't believe, but it would be almost $60,000 in your bank account. Some people will claim that, Mayur, you did not consider the inflation rate. Even if we consider the annual average 2.5% of the inflation rate, that $60,000 will worth as of almost 40,000. Imagine what you can do with that $40,000 if you have it today in your hand. But let's say if you wait until you turn 30, if you invest the same amount, that's $100 a month, and you take that money out at the age of your 40, that means within 10 years, that money would be only 30,000. That means you lost almost 30,000 in that 10-year of gap. That means the early you start, the better return you get. The main reason behind this 30,000 money loss is simply because your money did not have enough time to become a big snowball. So, overall, investing and compound interest is all about the time. It is not about the money you saved, and unfortunately, this is what the school missed us from teaching. Schools never taught us that money buy happiness. Just imagine, have you ever seen anybody who is driving a jet ski in the water and that person is sad? No way. The main reason behind this is that school should have taught us that money is the tool that can help us to build our life the way we want. The real lessons we miss at school is that money gives us freedom of time. Yes, money just does not buy things for us, but it buybacks our time. The ability to build an emergency fund for at least 12 months allow us to leave a job that we hate and take a break to pursue our passion. You are no longer trapped into the rat race and trading your time just to pay your bills. Schools taught us a very rigid path: graduate, get a job, and pay the bills for the rest of the life. They did not teach us that money is the tool that can give us a lot of options. It is the difference between accepting a job offer from the bad boss or turning it down. It is the difference between buying cheap groceries or the healthier options that you want to buy. Basically, money gives you power to become the pilot of your life, not just a passenger. We can add a lot of things that money can do, but unfortunately, these things were not being taught in our school. Ultimately the lessons school should have taught us that money is the basic thing that you need in order to build your life financially well. So with all this important stuff, why do not school teach us this? It might be because financial literacy does not fit in any textbook chapter. It's messy, it's personal, and it changes all the time. Maybe they think that we will learn this from our parents, but the worst case is that even our parents did not learn ever, and they figured it out whenever they needed it. And this is how we all are learning it in a very hard way. If schools won't teach us this, we will learn by ourselves. And hey, if I use math to understand compound interest, maybe one day I will use geometry to figure it out how long my pizza slice will be on my next Domino's order. If you think that school should have taught us this lesson, hit the like button. It is like a vote for good financial educational content. And subscribe to this channel so that we can keep getting more financial and money related videos that really matters. Thank you.